Hi, welcome to Accessibility with Meg. This is Meg. Today we are going to learn about Application Lifecycle Management, ALM, with a QA testing perspective. We're going to move a little away from accessibility, but we're going to stay within QA testing and understand more about ALMs. Application Lifecycle Management, ALM, is a set of tools, really. But it's a concept, it's a framework, and a set of tools that manages the entire software development lifecycle, with software testing lifecycle being a core component. So what ALM does is that it provides an integrated platform to plan, execute, track, and manage all testing activities throughout a project. Some of the most widely used ALM tools are HP ALM. You have Jira with Zephyr. Now, Jira is more it's a more a agile environment project management tool, but it is used widely with testing, and it works as an application lifecycle management tool. And then you have Azure DevOps as well. There are some others, things like, I think, TestRail. You also have, TestRail is also a ALM tool. So these are some examples of ALM tools that you can find. The key benefits of ALM in QA, first would be traceability. So it links requirements, test cases, and defects in a very seamless way. So you can work with your requirements. You can have access to creating your test plans and test design, and defect management, which is your bug management, right? So it allows traceability for all of those situations. And collaboration in terms of like your developers, your QA, business teams, your DevOps, all of these work on one platform, right? So that collaborative effort is possible because of ALM systems. And then you have an audit trail, which is a full history of any changes, runs, approvals, sign-offs, just any auditing that might have occurred throughout the life cycle of the project can be tracked and traced as well. There is coverage analysis, which is it identifies the untested requirements as well. So if you have a certain set of a certain set of things that you need covered within this project or the sprint cycle, it gives you an analysis of as to how far you've reached, where are your loopholes, like what need to be met, which are the untested requirements, and helps you to manage all of these for throughout the project life cycle. A typical QA workflow within an ALM system would be requirements to test planning, to test design, to test execution, defect logging, and reporting. Now, ALM essentially serves as a single source of truth for all QA activities, ensuring nothing falls through the cracks from the first requirement to the final sign-off. Before we close, just a little more detail about each of these tools. Now, HP ALM, this can be thought of as the gold standard for structured enterprise QA. Now, it was built ground up for testers. So mostly you would find testers who have worked on HP ALM, and everything that revolves around quality for this tool, right? So as a QA specialist, you get a dedicated end-to-end testing environment with with tightly integrated modules like requirements, which define and manage what needs to be tested, test plans. So you design, inside of HP ALM, you'll see that test design is called test plan. Okay, it's different from the test plan that you would create when you actually start a project, right? So this is called, it's basically design test cases with detailed steps, priorities, and expected results. You also have a test lab wherein you can execute these test runs. You would also record results and manage test cycles. Okay, and then there is a defect tracking. So you can log, track, and close bugs with full traceability within this application. It shines in industries like pharma, banking, healthcare, where you need rigorous traceability, audit trails, and sign-off workflows. So it's a little heavyweight, but it's extremely powerful for large teams because there is a structure to the manual testing programs that you could follow. Coming to the Jira Zephyr, the Jira Zephyr, it is a Atlassian ecosystem, so it's from that company. This is more a project management and issue tracking tool, and it wasn't originally built for QA. But today, with the Zephyr plugin, and with the agile setup, it is a capable test management platform, and it's deeply embedded with the agile workflow. Which you find that developers already are using, right? So to integrate QA into the system is easier with Jira and Zephyr, and in the agile environment especially. And so the key capabilities with Zephyr added is test case creation is directly inside of Jira. Your test cycles are mapped to sprints and releases. So you can also track your execution like pass, fail, block statuses. So you have it all within your Jira framework. And then there is traceability. So you can basically connect your user stories to your test cases and your bug cases very seamlessly right within Jira. And eventually, when you want to do reporting, creating dashboards and coverage reports via the Zephyr reporting system, and your JQL, which would allow you to create effective reports, to do very precise searches, be able to create your dashboards for reporting, etc., really well. So this is a go-to for Agile and Scrum teams. Since developers are already using Jira, now QA can live in the same space. So there is no context switching, there are no silos. Defects link naturally to stories and test cases. The the downside would be that you would have to learn an extra plugin, which is layered on top of Jira, and also you would have an extra plugin layered on top of Jira, which is Zephyr, right? But it's used widely in companies, and it's not really that much of a downside anymore. For speed, collaboration in agile sprints, this is the best way to go, like Jira and Zephyr. And the Azure DevOps is a full DevOps platform. I'm not very familiar with it, but what I understand is that its testing capabilities are built right into it via your Azure test plans. And it covers the entire pipeline from requirements to deployment, right? With QA sitting in the middle of it. So this brings in your CI/CD pipelines and things, and you have QA in between. So it covers that entire path. So there are test plans and suites, so you can organize manual and automated test cases within this tool. You also have test execution, so you can run tests manually via the web or with a test runner. Okay, so there are exploratory testing. There is exploratory testing. So you have built-in browser extension for ad hoc testing with screenshots and notes. So you can make screenshots. You can make notes. You can do exploratory testing, ad hoc testing. Facilities and availability is there. There is work item integration, test cases, bugs, and user stories are all linked as work items, and pipeline integration, so automated test results, feed directly from CI/CD pipelines, like I said. So, in a nutshell, from a QA perspective, I think Azure DevOps is a good choice when the team is already in maybe a Microsoft ecosystem, like you have Visual Studio, .NET, and Azure Cloud. I think these work together, right? The real power is the seamless bridge between manual QA and automated testing pipelines. So you can see automated test results alongside manual runs in one place. It is also excellent for teams practicing shift left testing, catching defects early in the CI/CD flow. Yep, so each of these tools has its place. The right choice depends on your team size, methodology, tech stack, and compliance needs. I've worked mostly with Jira and Zephyr and a little bit with HP ALM, sorry, but not so much with Azure. So this covers just briefly what ALM tools are all about. If I get a chance to get into details of any of these, I would try to do that. In terms of accessibility, you have all of these, and you also have your DQ systems for audits and auditing, where you would use those for accessibility. So accessibility is testing is a little different from your regular testing. So you have different other tools also that you would be using, but your just like your QA management, your toolkit, and test case management, and things like that. This is the way to go, the ALM tools, and you will have accessibility, test cases and test design, etc. integrated. Somewhere in my mind, I feel like they are two different environments for regular manual and automation testing, and then you have your accessibility testing as an addition. That's how it works in my mind. You could integrate your accessibility test cases for every sprint within this. But accessibility testing also has to be done in an entirety towards the end, or a bit in between, and at every stage of your SDLC. So there are two ways to approach accessibility, and the way that you would integrate into these tools with accessibility would be two-faced again. Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And if you can, please like, subscribe, or share. That would help me. And I hope to come back again with more content. Thank you. Bye.